Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Spider Garage. This is going to be an interesting one because I'm not here. Why am I not here and doing a voiceover instead? Well, I'm on a work trip for a couple weeks out in New Mexico, so I gave the camera to Nathaniel to handle while I was out. And as you guys know, Nathaniel really doesn't like to talk much on camera, so he's just going to do the filming duties while I tell you what's going on here. Right now he's walking around the garage looking at all the parts that we'd spent probably the last week to 2 weeks sanding, and we got everything set up in a makeshift paint booth in our garage. We got 4mm thick bisqueen taped around 2 of the bays, and Adam Padell, our friend from New Carlisle, Indiana, about 2 to 3 hours north of us, I can't remember exactly how far, has come down generously to help us out. So we did all the prep work, albeit very minimal prep work, because we didn't want this car to look like a nice car. It's supposed to look like an old beat-up race car. So when I say body work, I mean just simply sanding it so that the paint will adhere. If there was rust, or if there were some holes, or some old finish, or texture in the paint, we left it. Alright, so this is the kind of a filler primer that Adam's applying right now onto the parts. It's kind of exciting to see this, because for the longest time this thing has just been the primer black that the fiberglass company had left it, and of course the multicolored blue of the 77 Monza. There's just something so satisfying about watching something become a single color, even if it is primer. For those of you wondering, no, we are not painting this one like we did Miles. For those of you that watched that series of 6 episodes back to back, Nathaniel was actually the one that painted the car. In this case, we're going to let Adam do it because it's just a lot quicker. This was simply a weekend paint job. Now, it was over the course of a couple weekends. This episode is just the very first weekend. Adam only had so much time to dedicate to this, and we're so thankful that he came all the way down to help us out. He actually had a very busy weekend. He had to go to our house, then to Indianapolis, and then back to our house again for some other plans that he had scheduled. So we're very grateful to Adam for that. For a paint job that was not supposed to look nice, Adam was very particular about how we took off all of the trim and little pieces and sanded and door jambs and all the things that you would think the average person wouldn't care about. And I get that. Adam actually normally does really high-end paint jobs. I mean, like Porsches and sports cars and things like that. He owns and operated a paint shop called AMP Custom Paint. And if you guys have seen his Corvette, I guess I can stitch it in right here. You'll understand that Adam is very particular. And so at one point I even asked Adam, hey, are you sure you want your name attached to this paint job? Because it's not supposed to look nice. Like, for instance, on the bottom of the door right there, it's completely rusted out and we're just literally painting right over top of it. Adam's answer, by the way, was, well, if people like it, sure, you can tell them I painted it. Here we are, finally filling in the very expensive nose of the car. Lots of really difficult to get into crevices and areas that are kind of hidden. And here we are looking at it now that it's dry.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's your vision of this thing? What do you want it to look like now?
And here we are seeing the first bit of color. You can hear Nathaniel in the background there through his mask, how excited he is. Everyone has actually said to me that the yellow was their favorite color, and this was a custom mix that Adam put together just based off a couple old photos of the original DeKon Monza of Al Holbert back from 1976. And man, I love that color. It's almost an orange, but not quite. but it's the perfect color. It's probably my favorite color on the car. Now, some of you are probably wondering why he's only painting just a small portion of the car here. Later on, you'll see the car being taped off. This nose is going to be, I think, 4 different colors eventually, and this yellow is just one of the stripes. So he's only painting the area where that stripe is eventually going to be taped off. And since it's the first color, there's no need to tape it off right now. Adam is such a professional here. I just love watching him work. Now we're moving on to the base coat white. We actually are doing a base coat clear coat, by the way, and you'll see later what clear coat we actually chose. It's not what you would think for the average paint job. Again, this is supposed to be a car that looks like it's been kind of run through the ringer and maybe found in a junkyard. So it's not going to be the typical gloss paint job that you're used to. This is the first red that we've seen, and again, this was all custom mixed by Adam because it was just based off of a photo that I gave him of the number 20 Chris Cord DeKon Monza. And I'll stitch a picture of that in here now. As you see each color go on, it just gets more and more exciting. You start to see the vision come together.
Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah, you can hear Nathaniel even getting excited about it.
Nice.
One thing I forgot to mention was that you can see some decals applied to the car there, like the Monza on the door here, and if you just happen to notice a few seconds ago, there was a number 20 underneath the red there. There's a lot of little details from the original cars from back in the day that this is supposed to emulate, like the numbers and the letters and the other details that you see. All of them are painted on there, and none of them are stickers. And so to do that, we actually created decals to act as a stencil. And you'll see later how that comes into play once it's all done. Other side of the car here. Just so satisfying to watch. And again, the bottom of that door is completely rusted out. I know some of you are cringing at that, but that's just the theme of the car. It's supposed to be that way. Here's the yellow paint dried, and then you can see the yellow painter's tape taped off where that yellow is actually supposed to stay. And now the red, which again is only a stripe in this case, so you can see that it's only being applied to a very small portion of the nose. You can also now see the Goodyear stencil. Since the Goodyear logo was supposed to be white, the decal or the stencil was applied after the base coat white. Once the final color goes on over top of it, then we'll just pull that right off and you'll see the logo. Okay, this is where it gets pretty exciting. The blue is starting to go on, and this is the front spoiler. If you remember, it was painted that orangey yellow. But one thing we changed from our original rendering of the car was that the air inlets, both in the center and the two small circles on the side, we taped off and highlighted in blue. We noticed in some of the original, anyway, not all of them, but some of the original photos from back in 1976, 1977, that this area was highlighted blue, and we just thought it looked really cool. So we did deviate slightly from the rendering where this was all yellow, and I'm glad we did. Here goes the blue on the front nose. So the yellow and the red have been taped off. The Goodyear stencil has been taped off as well. So everything above it now gets painted blue. You're going to want to stick around until we pull the tape off. It gets pretty cool. This is just so satisfying. You have to remember that we're painting this all in one weekend as well. So the paint is barely dry as we're taping and retaping new sections of it to go right over top of it again with a third, sometimes a second or third color. Okay, this is probably my favorite part of the entire video. What you see on the edge there is the 1/4 inch wide tape was orange, so it's not a yellow stripe. It's just simply the vinyl tape that hasn't been pulled off yet. Right now, he's just working on the yellow painter's tape. But oh my gosh, is this so satisfying to watch! Just sit back and enjoy. We kind of felt bad that we were purposely trying to make this paint job not look nice, because right now it's a little bit glossier than it will be in its final form because we haven't applied the clear coat yet. And we were going to do some faux patina and some other things to make it look a little more beat up, and we decided against that. We just thought the lack of body work and the matte finish that we'll eventually give it was enough, because I don't know, we just didn't want to take away from how good this looked and the incredible effort that Adam put forth to do this so quickly in one weekend. He's so careful with this because you can very easily rip up the paint. Okay, clear coat's about to go on. Obviously it's going to look glossy when it first goes on. Some people may like the glossy look, some people may not. Some people may like the matte finish and some people may not, but that was our choice, again, to kind of stay with the theme of the car. Clear coat's messy too, by the way. That stuff goes everywhere. If you could tell earlier in the video, Adam was just wearing his jeans and t-shirt when he was painting the paint, but once you get to this clear coat, that stuff fogs the entire room pretty badly. It's something we learned when we painted Miles years ago in a paint booth. There's just something about clear coat. Adjusting his pressure. I know there's some of you out there that probably prefer this glossy look, and I'll admit, it looks pretty good, but again, it just didn't go with the theme of the car. More clear on the front spoiler. I think the front spoiler is probably one of my favorite pieces of the car. The yellow is my favorite color, and then I just love the blue highlights. Clear going on the nose. Somewhere off camera, Adam had already cleared the car itself too. Alright, here's some of the after photos. Here's some of the paint supplies that were in a box of all the custom mixed colors. Here's my very messy workbench. Good supplies. I mean, good quality products were used in this, even though it's not supposed to look like a nice paint job. There's the outside of the paint booth that you can see from in my garage. So at this point, Nathaniel would stop filming because I had just come home from my trip, so now I can walk you around and show you the final results. What a weekend to miss. So bummed that I couldn't be here to help Nathaniel and Adam do the work they did, but I'm super stoked with the results, and unfortunately Nathaniel can't be with me right now because he's got a weird sleep schedule for work, and I've got to get this torn down so I can get on to the next thing, and we only got a few days to get the car done. So let's walk around inside and I'll show you what everything looks like, and we'll wrap this episode up. The car's got clear on it. We decided to go with kind of a matte finish. We didn't want a shiny car. And we're not done painting yet. There's a red and a blue stripe that's got to go across the top of the car and across the hatch and across the hood, but we're not done with the hood or the hatch yet. And we're still welding on them and doing a little body work. And then once we get them placed on the car, then we can run a tape line across the entire car to make sure all those stripes match up. So we got a little bit of painting still left to do, but just, look at that. It's so smooth, so nice. I love how the stencils turned out. Yes, this is all paint. There are no stickers on this car. Looks a little funny without the panels on it. There's the back of the car. Look at these rear quarters. I love that number 20, just like the old Budweiser car. And then look at this. Have you ever seen anything so beautiful? I want to warn you guys right now, it's not perfect. We didn't want it to be perfect. If you look at it, we didn't use any glaze or filler. So you see the imperfections of the original fiberglass. That's the way we wanted it. The premise of this car is that we just found old body parts lying around an imaginary junkyard for race cars, and we picked them up and we built one good car out of them. So flaws and all, little dips in the fiberglass. There's even a couple holes drilled in there in that one that we had Clecos in. We didn't even fill in, we just painted right over top of it. See, same. And look at this front spoiler. I love this. I just love the detail. The dark blue that was on the original car, and the dark yellow, almost orange, of the front spoiler that will go underneath that. I can't wait for that. Items that were not painted, as I said before, the top of the car, the hood and the hatch, but also the rear wing will be the same yellow. And I just haven't got it put in glaze yet and sanded. So Adam will be back at some point and we'll finish painting the other remaining parts of the car. But in the meantime, all of this has got to go up, and we've got to start an engine build like tonight. So we're filming like 3 or 4 episodes all at the same time, so it gets a little confusing. But that is going to be the end of this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much, Adam, for coming by and helping us out the way you did, driving 3 hours down on a weekend that he was already pretty busy with anyway. He still took the time out of his schedule to help us out. So thank you, Adam. Thanks for mentoring Nathaniel as well. He loves that. I think he kind of enjoyed not having Dad around this weekend anyway, so there's that. And thank you to all of you for watching this episode. We couldn't do this without you. Stay tuned, because big things are about to happen very soon. Take care, guys. We'll see you on the next one.